Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the product that you see before you. It is an electric stair climbing hand truck. It's capable of 160 pounds of payload plus its own weight, and it's designed to crawl up the stairs and move heavy objects without you actually having to lift them, which is a great addition and a great tool for what I'm going to be using it for. And my main purpose is to be moving my bass guitar speakers around, not only in and out of the house much easier, but also at any gig that may have stairs. Now, I'm really excited to go and look over this product because had my eye on this for some time. I had a hernia repair, a double inguinal hernia repair a couple years ago, so I am limited on how much I can actually carry safely without re-injuring myself. And I know there are a lot of people out there that have had that surgery, and it's just not fun, to say the least. So something like this would certainly save my back and save my body from being further damaged. I do need to move my bass guitar speakers from gig to gig. This is the main rig that I use most of the time. I have the 210 and the 15. The 210 is usually just more than enough for doing indoor gigs, but when I play some of the outdoor gigs, I need that extra 75-pound 15-inch speaker below in order to get that extra push out when I'm playing outdoors. So it tends to get a little heavy, and when you have a couple flights of stairs to get it out of the house, and then if there might even be stairs over at the venue, I usually have a simple hand truck that's it folds up flat. It's very similar looking to this, but it doesn't have that track system on it, and it rolls around the cabinets just fine. And there's always that chance that, hey, you may need to actually deadlift some things onto the stage. Well, that gets pretty old pretty quickly, and I'm not getting any younger, and these things are not getting any lighter. So that is really my motivation in getting a tool like this. But I do not see a lot of user reviews or videos on YouTube for one of these products. Now, it could be under EcoJoy, it could be under Voltstair, it could be even under Riosoc. Maybe that's the same thing as EcoJoy. I'm not sure, but the range for the cost of one of these, this is the smallest unit, could be anywhere from $650 US all the way up to $1,000. I didn't pay near that much for this, thankfully, because I got a deal. But I'm going to go and provide my unbiased review because this is something that I intend to use pretty frequently when I'm going out and gigging, and it's just great to have if you have a lot of stairs. So here's the unit. I have zoomed out wide a little bit so you can see everything, but this unit you're going to get from FedEx. It's going to be in a huge box with styrofoam, so it's packaged very well. But I have the platform out like this because normally you can fold it up like this, like that. And the problem is that now this is back heavy. It's back heavy because of the track system and the motor and everything like that. Even if it was on a hard surface, it would probably stay upright, but it's got a tendency to fall back. So that is one of the first flaws that I see with this unit, is that it's going to fall very easily. You would want to store it upright because it is pretty low profile, but because of the track system and the weight, it's going to fall backwards. So what I do is that I usually just leave this out like this, and it stabilizes it no problem. In the box, not only are you going to get the unit, but then you're going to get the instructions here. And this is the brand that they say on the manual, Riosoc or Riosoc. I can't pronounce it right. I apologize. You're going to get this strap with a snap clip, and then the battery charger with a power brick, basically. It's got a barrel tip adapter to power to charge up the battery pack. So it says Riosoc, but then if I go on to the back of the manual, it'll say EcoJoy after sales service team. So is this an EcoJoy, Riosoc, Voltstair? It is made overseas in China, and you know, I'm definitely impressed with the build quality because it is pretty heavy. It's about 34 pounds. It's not flimsy by any stretch. It's got some pretty thick tracks here that when you look at the size of these things here, it's pretty thick. And what we can do is we can turn on the power. You're going to have a power indicator here. The charger would normally go here. And then to enable it, you just turn on the power. And you can go backwards. Pretty cool. Here's some specs that I see in the manual here, and it's pretty straightforward. It's about 34 pounds, as I mentioned. It's got a lithium ion battery. It does have an electromagnetic brake. Now, I hear that brake engage. If I was to turn this on, you hear that click? That's the brake. It actually lock. That's not coming from the relays. That's actually coming from the motor. When you disengage the power to the motor, the lock will prevent that motor from spinning. Now, the interesting thing that I have here, so the total height is 19, well, I don't think that's really that accurate. It's not 19 inches max height. So you go from the floor all the way up to how far out this extends. I'm 6'3", and this is coming right up to my chest. So we got quite a bit of height here to handle something pretty significant. Now, this tubing is hollow, so I think that might potentially be a problem. If you're trying to go and move something pretty heavy, obviously you can bring this back down if you don't have something that heavy. But I did see a review on this particular unit where the part right here can potentially bend a little bit, because if you're putting a lot of downward pressure in order for this to keep the tracks on the stairs, that could be a potential issue for wearing. Now, this does come with a 1-year limited warranty, where if something were to break on it, that they would replace it free of charge. And they do sell parts, although you can't exactly get a parts list or a schematic or anything like that. To me, I think the build quality is pretty good. I mean, I see this kind of welding here on the track system, which is where all the stress is going to be. This tubing is very, very thick. This tubing is hollow, but it's not as thick, so that might be where the only problem you might run into that may have to be replaced at some point. But everything else is pretty significantly built. So to adjust the height, you just turn this one way or the other, and then it should lock in place like that. And then in order to move the tracks out here, you actually have to pull like this. And then what will happen is this will lock into place, and now you got about a 30-degree angle, but this is what makes it back heavy here. And now you can actually go and load your car, go up, and then that angle will help you to get the right mechanical advantage to go up and down the stairs. So I'm going to give an example. Probably takes one of my cabinets here or something small that's not too heavy, but you can see exactly how this is loaded up and then how I use it. Now, I did try this off camera, and I will show in the next segment what it is like to use this. But what I have noticed is that these wheels are about 5 inches wide, and they're right to the perpendicular parallel with the platform here and also the wheels. So if you tip this back a little bit, you'll be on the tracks. If the tracks are all the way out, you're going to hit these tracks first, and then these will come off the ground, which is what it's supposed to do. Carpet, high pile carpet, not your best friend. This is not going to do well on high pile carpet. So hardwood floors or low pile carpet is going to be the best scenario for what you're dealing with. I guess at that point, if you have a high pile carpet and you're having a hard time moving it, I guess the worst case scenario is that you can just roll this on the flat ground, which will crawl on the flat ground as well, with these tracks extended out to its 30-degree angle like this. That is really the only, besides it being back heavy and the fact that it cannot do high pile carpet too well, because the wheels are small, and they have to be small in order to get up the stairs. So it is not easily maneuverable on high pile carpet. That's another flaw, but I can't really fault it for that because it is a stair climber. So one other difficulty that I have, and I'm going to demonstrate in the next segment when I go and take something of decent sized weight and use this up the stairs, is that there's no way to steer this thing when you are on the stairs. This has basically posi tracks. The motor is locked to this axle underneath here, so these are moving evenly. And say you have stairs that has a bend, or if there's a 90-degree bend where you have a little bit of stairs coming up, and then you have stairs going this way for just to get up to the second floor, for example, like what I have. That gets a little dicey. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is not very maneuverable if you're trying to do turns. So what we'll do is we will go pull this down, and then this goes like this to get it back. Now I'm just going to lift this up just a little bit for my height, something typical. Now, works great on a hardwood floor. We get it right up to the edge, and then where it becomes a bit of a challenge, now you need to, in order to keep these tracks level with the stairs, you have to put downward pressure, which was what I was getting at with that. These tubes might actually start to bend on something pretty heavy. But the great thing is that you can be right on the end, get it right up to the side, press the button, obviously it's a lot easier when there's no weight on it, but this is basically how the function of it works. And hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, so now we're on the wheels. This is the challenge when you're trying to turn. When you have something of significant size on there, especially for here anyway, it's a little bit of a challenge. So you'd almost have to go and wiggle it around. And then you have some short stairs here. But I didn't exert myself at all. The machine did all the work. Bring this back down. And there you go. And I'll just do a quick shot here of it going back down. And I'll extend the handlebars to as high as they will go. And we'll go in that fashion down the stairs. So I'll press the yellow button. So now if I had a bass guitar cabinet here, this is where I would be having to kind of hug the edge a little bit. And then the handles would hit here. So I got a unique challenge in that case. This is what I was saying about the carpet. So you get it right to the edge. And obviously holding pressure down to keep it from falling forward. Obviously you would have things strapped down. And with the handle all the way out, it actually makes it a lot easier for my height. Now if I wanted to stop, see now with the weight on it, that motor's locked. If I just happen to have to stop on the stairs, those tracks are locked. Wheels are on the bottom, and now I can lift up a little bit and roll it around. So that's the full setup, but again, if I leave it alone, it's going to fall. It's just a inherent design flaw, I guess, but we can put this back into its stowaway position, and it holds itself in place no problem. Got plenty of clearance, and height-wise, I'm 6'3", comes right up to my chest, so it gives you an idea of what the extension of these handles are. So, yeah. Well guys, I'm going to end the video here. I think that this is going to be a very handy tool for me. Now, I did off camera try my heaviest guitar cabinet, which is a 104-pound 4x10-inch speaker, and this was able to handle it, although obviously maneuvering issues with having to get around that corner is always going to be a challenge, but this dolly had no problem handling the weight once I got it straight away onto the stairs there. And as far as longevity is concerned, I guess the only thing that would be a concern for me are three things. One, the tracks. Two, the battery, which are wearable items anyway. And then the handlebar tubes here can potentially, because I think they're a little not sturdy enough. If you were to haul something very heavy, maybe closer to that 160-pound mark, for example, you might run into some flexing there that may not be advantageous for this product. But my heaviest cabinet, as I mentioned, is about 104 pounds, and this had no problem. I was not getting any, I was getting some flexing, but it didn't get bent to the point where I couldn't get these handlebars back down into the outer tube here. But any questions, please let me know, and thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.